Ready? Okay, everybody, let's close our eyes and begin a series of slow, deep breaths. Inhaling the wonderful spirit of the moment and exhaling all your cares, concerns. Inhaling in all of the momentum to expand our consciousness, and exhaling the stress and all the elements that get in the way of learning and inner peace. We thank the spirits who are present in this moment, guiding us individually and collectively. And in particular, the spirit that guides our speaker today, Anna. We also welcome the spirits who are here to learn alongside of us. And we thank God for this moment, for the free will to participate, to progress, to grow. We're so full of gratitude, God. Thank you for this morning. And thank you for welcoming today's presentation. And so be it.
And so it is. Thank you, Mark. All right, everyone. So again, welcome to Bezerra Spiritual Healing Center. We are a non-denominational organization, but we are part of the United States Spiritist Federation. So we study Spiritism basically on the codification from Allan Kardec. So here we are in this beautiful gathering where we have two big moments. The first moment's going to be all of us hearing from our dearest Anna, and I will introduce her in just 1 second. And then the second part's going to be a hands-on healing where all of us will be receiving passes. And then we will do a quick meditation ending with a prayer. And those two parts are really what we hear consistently from the spirits on high, including from Emmanuel, who is Chico Xavier's mentor, that says that our spiritual awakening come from two big wings. One is the wing of knowledge, and that's why we're going to study. And then the other wing is the wing of love. So how we can serve. And this is what we will be doing the second part, which is not only to be receiving the healing, but also giving our energy to the spirits on high so that they can support those who are in need. One thing that we highly encourage everyone to do is to have a piece of paper and something for you to take notes during the presentation, so then you can actively listen. And then you also allow your mentor to download to you messages that are important for you to reflect along the week. So we invite you to do that and don't miss the opportunity to pay attention and participate, of course. I'm not going to project, but we do have plenty of opportunities for us to be together along the week. So first thing is we have a daily prayer. So from Monday to Saturday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we all get together in the same link for us to vibrate, not only for ourselves, also for those who are in need, and most importantly for the planet Earth. It usually takes 15-20 minutes, so everybody is welcome to join us and help us support the planet in this very needed moment. Then we also have classes. So on Tuesdays, we have classes with Divine Light. And then we are reading the book Light Ahead. It's 6:30 from 8:45, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. I do have it here, sorry. Yeah, from 6:30 to 8 p.m. with Light Ahead. On Wednesdays, we also have the class Inner Transformation that just started. We are now heading to chapter 4, and it's from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Everybody's welcome to join. On Thursday, we have the study of the book Psychology of Gratitude from 6:30 to 7:30. And then on Sundays, we have not only the service, but also at 5:30 to 6:45, the study of the book Workers of the Life Eternal. So we do have plenty of opportunities for us to be together. All of this that I spoke, they can be found on our website, bshcenter.org. I'm going to put this link on our chat. So if you have any questions, you can go there. And then in addition to the classes and in addition to the daily prayer, we also have fraternal counseling. If you are in need, for whatever reason you are in need of talking to someone, or if you want to just pray, here we are for you. You are not alone. Give us a call, send us an email, a message to whoever you know from BSH, and we'll be happy to assign a medium to be talking to you. Usually this is on Wednesday from 4 to 7, but if you need any other time, just let us know. We'll make sure that someone is ready for you. And on Monday, we have an internal meeting, and this meeting is only for the mediums, but what we do is we offer meditation and healing services for all of those who are in need. So if you or someone you love is in need of receiving vibration, we are more than happy to take the notes of the names of those who are in need. Of course, that we highly encourage you to let the person know, so then he or she can always vibrate together and contribute with his or her treatment. So if you have someone that you want to let us know, just put it on the chat, or just let us know somehow, and we'll be happy to incorporate. As I mentioned to you, all of this is at bshcenter.org. I'll put the link on our chat. And today we will hear from a very dear person, Anna Moreno. It's not the first time that she's here, and we are so happy to have her here. And Anna, you know, we are honored to have you. You can come as many times as you want. And Anna today will be talking about conversation, and it's a very interesting topic from the book from Emmanuel. And for those who still don't know Anna, although I'm sure everybody knows her, Anna is the co-founder and president of the Chico Xavier Learning Center in Oregon, and was previously the president of Joana de Angelis Spiritist Society in the Bay Area. She came from a generation of spiritists in Brazil, so she started to study and develop her mediumship as a teenager when she lived in São Paulo, where I come from too as well. She was an active contributor at FIESP, Federação Espírita do Estado de São Paulo, or São Paulo Spiritist Federation, teaching various classes and working across multiple mediumship groups. Mrs. Moreno hosts weekly virtual group studies, including ESDE, Allan Kardec, and André Luiz, with attendees in the US and Brazil. Anna holds a master's degree in business administration and marketing with a graduate certificate in electrical engineering, very interesting background, and she currently lives in the beautiful Portland with her husband and 2 boys. So Anna, may you feel welcomed, and we all would like to, again, once more, thank you for sharing with us your learnings. So the stage is yours, friends. Thank you.
So much, Kiki. I'm so happy to be here. I feel like seeing a familiar, friendly face like yours is always good, and I recognize some of the names. So thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to be here. It's a great way to start a Sunday. And I'm so impressed with the amount of studies that you guys are carrying on. That's amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's really awesome. And the daily prayer that you guys are hosting, I think it's so important right now. And this is one of the reasons why I decided for this topic. And just a reminder to everyone that when we are talking, we are usually talking to the closest ears to our mouth. So I studied to give you guys this lecture, but for sure, I'm the one who needs this information much more than anyone else. As we know, we are living in a moment of turmoil. It's a transition to a better world. And from what we have learned from Andrea Luiz, before getting better, it is getting more difficult. And we see that we are surrounded by information and by people that provide this with data that usually do not make us feel good, do not make us feel stronger. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this, the topic conversations. So I chose a chapter just as a baseline. I didn't follow the entire chapter from Emmanuel from the book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life, chapter 45. But I just wanted to use it as a start point. It happened that this week, a friend of mine was presenting this chapter, and it really spoke deeply to me, the way that we converse, the way that we relate to others, but also to ourselves. So, as you guys are familiar with, Emmanuel has these magical powers of getting just one single verse of the New and sometimes the Old Testament. And he develops that one single verse, sometimes a short paragraph, of, handful of words into a whole chapter. And he really dives deep. He is able to unveil information from those words. And then we see the power of those words, really. Because many times we look at the New Testament as something old-fashioned, old language, difficult to understand. And then we miss the real sense of the message that Jesus gave to us, a message that was given through his words and through his actions. So this one is from Paul. It's in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 29. Do not let any unwholesome talk come from your mouth, but only what is helpful for edifying others according to their needs, so that it may benefit those who listen. And then I want to stop and reflect, first thing, about some of the things that we're going to talk today. First, the types of conversations that we have, the ways that we talk, the power of our words, which are basically the base of our society, and then the message that Jesus gave us. So the first thing is a reflection. I want everyone to just stop and think, what was the quality of the conversations that you had today? And by conversations, I'm not only talking about the conversations with others. I'm talking about the conversations with yourself too. So how are you feeling? How did it make you feel? What words did you use? Sometimes, we live with other people under the same roof. And then we speak our words, we have different tones. We give different impressions. And how many times we misspeak. We want to say something and something different comes out of our mouth. The other thing is that when we were brushing our teeth in the morning, looking at the mirror, when we saw ourselves, what did we see? What did we say? This is pretty important because some of us are very critical. And usually we are very critical to ourselves, but we are also very critical to others. It goes together. There's no separation. And then when we look at the mirror, the first thing we say is that, oh my God, your hair looks awful. You look tired. You gain weight. Look at those, big black circles around your eyes. You're getting old. And then we go and go and go, and then we keep thinking, oh my goodness. And I'm, I'm guilty as charged, so when we think about these words and thinking, would we say all of those horrible things to our best friend? Like, oh my goodness, you look horrible. Look at his face, these black circles. You didn't sleep? That would be such a lack of charity, almost being rude. But we are not ashamed of to say that to ourselves. Why? Why do we start our day many times basically being unkind to the most important person in the world, which Jesus said, love others as you love yourself, and God above everything. So he's telling us that loving others should be a reflection of ourselves. If we are unable to love ourselves, we will be unable to love others. Nevertheless, many times, every day, the first thing in the day that we do is basically criticize our appearance. Now, raising hands on I don't know if you guys know how to express that on the Zoom, but who knows about the 3 sieges of Socrates, the story? Have you heard about that? So Socrates came about 500 years before Jesus. He's very known as one of the greatest philosophers on all times, right? And even though he wasn't particularly religious, he was very curious, and he started being a philosopher because he liked to ask questions. So one day, a friend of his came to him, say, hey, Socrates, I have to tell you something from someone you know. And then he goes like, wait. Before you start, have you thought about the 3 sieges? And he goes like, 3 sieges? What are you talking about? I don't know what is that. So he was like, well, first thing is that, did you hear that story from someone else, or did you see it happen? So do you know that's really true? And then the friend said, well, actually I heard from someone. Okay. Second siege. Are you going to tell me something good, something kind? Something that's good about that person that's going to make me feel good? Happier? Not really. Not really, Socrates. So here comes the third siege. Now, this story that you're going to tell me, is it going to help me by any chance? Is it useful? No, I don't think so. So Socrates turns to his friend and says, so please don't tell me. I don't want to hear that. So I'm seeing that because many times a great part of our conversations, we use our words in a very irresponsible way that we are not using these 3 sieges. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it useful? Is it helpful to anyone? Is it going to make a difference? It's going to make other people feel better. And sometimes this feeling better goes a long way, because right now, with the communication that we have all over the place, before it was just face-to-face at the time of Socrates, now we have phones, we have Instagram, we talk face-to-face at the office, at home, we travel, we see people everywhere, we have WhatsApp, and we keep receiving messages from people we have no idea. We have YouTube, who is a repository of news and everything else in the whole planet. Snapchat, news on TV, news on our iPhone that we keep receiving information without many times even asking, message, and TikTok, which is the new place for receiving news, as awkward as it sounds, or Discord, or Twitter, or Zoom. So we are bombarded by words and information and message in our inbox. Oh, didn't even put email, by the way. Before we would be able to block, right now, sometimes that level of poor information comes from people that unfortunately we cannot say stop, because it could be our brother or sister, a mother, a father, or son, and then there are saying things that are telling us things that do not make us feel good. On the other hand, there's also us, the message that we tell the world. And I remember a while back in a conversation with Vanessa Anceloni, and you guys probably know her. She was talking about the importance of our choices as spiritists on our social media, because we are mediums 24 hours by 7. It's not like we are mediums just the time that we are in a Zoom call or face-to-face in the spirit center. No, unfortunately, that's not the way it works. And we know that as mediums, we are like a sponge that will basically capture everything that is around us, good and bad. And that's why the inner reform is so important, because it's a way to protect us from evil, from falling. But with that, we need to pay attention to 2 basic things, like the most simple bricks, which are our thoughts, our emotions. Our emotions basically are the source of everything that comes. You know, people say that what we say is what we feel. On the other hand, our actions are born from our thoughts. And how do we separate our feelings from our thoughts? Usually the thoughts they arise from our feelings. So when we use social media, when we communicate to others, and before we would make like a small damage with our words, with one person, 2 people, but now we have hundreds. Some people have thousands of followers. So when we say something, we misguide a huge crowd, and that crowd may misguide another crowd because we don't know how many followers those people have. So our responsibility with our words has never been that important. Jesus, with his words during 3 years, was able to make history, but he was able to change the calendar. When we say that today is August 7, 2022, that means that 2022 years after 8 months and 7 days, Jesus was born. He did that with his words and actions only for 3 years. He didn't have social media. His social media was actually Paul, we know, with the letters and traveling everywhere when he decided to spread the word outside Jerusalem and the Jewish people. Now we have much more power in our hands. We have power to influence. We have power to console. But we also have power to hurt deeply. People that many times do not have the structure to come back. So we are responsible for what we communicate, not what we think or intend. We're living in a country where fake news seems to be normal, that lie is seen as free speech, without taking into consideration the impact of lies. So that's where the gospel comes, about rights and wrongs. about kind of a being in peace about the righteousness of what we are saying, without second intentions, without hidden agendas, without playing with people's lives. Because our words, they have consequences. They have consequences within our body, not only our physical body, but our spiritual body. But they have consequences on other people's lives. You want to see? I want you guys to close your eyes. And we kind of cross the 20s here. I don't see anyone here less than 20 years old. So I assume this will be a long time ago, the question that I will ask now. I want you guys to think about something someone told you that made a huge difference in your life. Someone that you respected, that made you feel good, powerful. Loved, cared. So those words, did they bring emotions to you? Those words, did they kind of feel somehow you were able to go back maybe 20 years? I went back more than 20 years. And I still got kind of the red nose. Because the words, they have this power. This grandiose power of carrying a sentiment. And many times we don't remember the exact words, but we do remember how people made us feel. Isn't that amazing? I cannot repeat what he or she said, but the memory of the feeling is integrated, is engraved within me. Now, imagine that with our, oopsie. Imagine that power, the power that we have with our kids, with these young beings that we know that are still like a Play-Doh ready to be molded. And then we tell our sons or daughters, you're stupid. Jesus, you're doing it again. You're so stupid. What's wrong with you? Can't you do anything right? Would you please do something right? What are we molding? What are we telling? What are we creating? As parents, and I believe that some of us are here, I am, the largest responsibility that we have in our incarnation is really the way that we raise our kids. Because the kids that we raise today, they are going to be the society of tomorrow. These kids are going to be the dads and moms of the children of the new world. This world of regeneration and goodness and happiness. It's going to take our generation and their generation to make that transition, as we heard from Deval. But the seeds that we plant on our kids, they're going to blossom in the future. Usually, my actions, they come until I am a grown-up, mature person. They basically come as a mirror of the examples that I got from my parents. A person who has not learned how to love at home will not be able to love in society. A person that only learned to be criticized at home will only be able to criticize outside. And then we see ourselves in this moment where mental health is a huge problem. Why? And then Eckhart told us, I don't know how many people have read his books, but the mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes destructive. We know that our minds are like a very fertile soil. Anything we plant will grow. We plant good things will grow. We plant bad things will grow. Many of us complain, saying, well, Anna, my life is not the way I wished it to be. I don't have peace. I'm surrounded by difficult people who do not understand me. And then we learn that our life outside is a reflection of what we are inside. That we have the power to change the outside every day, because as long as we change our actions, our minds, we'll see the world in a different way. And we remember that prayer from St. Francis, which is to seek to forgive more to be forgiven, to love more to be loved, to understand more to be understood, to give more receive. What he's saying is that by that exercise that we do more, we set an example. We do not change others. We do not change the situations, but we can change the way we see it. We can change ourselves. And many times our example is so powerful that will influence others, will convince others that there is a better way to do things, if we believe that way. Mental health today is such a big deal because suddenly we were all isolated from each other, disconnected from the relationships, or from even, I would say, the hideways that we used. Because how many of us would, run to the office basically to be far away from our families, do not have to deal with marital problems or challenges with our kids. It was easier to solve business problems than personal ones. And God had his ways of basically saying, okay, now it's time to think. Now it's time to look at inside instead of looking outside. Because it's much easier to look outside than inside. Some of us basically try to bury, feelings of hurt, trauma, pain that are unresolved. But we know that all these feelings, they leave scars in our soul. And these scars will come up at some point. That's why it's so important to be treated. That's why it's so important to nurture our soul, to understand ourselves, to love ourselves, to ask for help, to look for help. And one of the ways to look for help is to develop our spirituality. And we know that the spirituality may be in a different way for different people, which is okay. Because the objective of religion is basically to reconnect us with God, whatever the pathway is. Our path is spiritism. My path is spiritism. But as long as that connection takes us to God, take us to do better things, that's enough. The mind is so important on this that we see how our mood kind of changes from morning to afternoon to evening. Maybe some information that we received that basically cheered up, made us feel better. And then in the morning, I was in hell, but in the afternoon, I was in heaven. Isn't that funny? It's not a geographical place. I may be surrounded by the same walls, but the information that I receive, the words that are told from others to me, they can make me change my mindset. So going back to the self-talks, what are the words that we're telling ourselves on a day-to-day basis? That things will get better because we know that one incarnation is 1 second in eternity, that our body, this body, is just like a piece of outfit in the whole eternity. But our soul will remain, and this soul will be impregnated by everything that we think and we say. That's our heritage to ourselves. Going back to the 3 sieges that we talked, the importance of being truthful, being kind, being just with us and with our children too, with the ones that surround us every day, that look up to us as examples. And we know that until our kids are 7, 8 years old, they look up to us for answers, for everything. The 8-year old kids that basically ask us everything. Why the sky is blue? Why the tree is green? Why do I need to brush my teeth? Do I really need to go to school? Why you are my mom? Why I was born here and not there? Why some people have hunger and we have food? They are looking up to us to give all that information. But also the moral aspect of life. And they are so smart because more than what we say, they will be paying attention to what we do, how we behave in certain circumstances. If we say, do not yell, but I yell at home, what is my accountability? If I say, do not curse, but I curse myself, what moral power do I have? They are paying attention. If I say, do not lie, but I do lie, and they will call us up. Emmanuel continues saying that this is extracted from the chapter. Conversation precedes all the worthwhile activities in life. It weaves the ideals of love. It stimulates the divine aspect. It develops civilization. It organizes families and nations. I just want us to read this again. This is huge. So depending on the quality of the words that we use with us, with others, we are basically defining the words, the world inside and outside. And that world, that, as we know, it starts in one place that's called family. The family is the base of the society. We know that many of the problems that we have today, they come because families are not well organized. There's no love, there's no respect. Parents are much more concerned about the material things of life, the day-to-day routine, than being present, being attentive, being kind, being supportive. So if we think that our words have no power, I want us to reflect on what Emmanuel is saying on the chapter. This is from chapter 45, as I mentioned, from the book, the way, the truth, and the life. It can develop a civilization. We have seen how much our dear country where we live, but also Brazil, have changed just by the words that presidents used. Those words that filled a country with hatred, that division. And then by example, by setting the example, those powerful examples, they have been able to bring the worst that we have in ourselves, and with no judgment. All of us have a big bag of vices that come from the history of several incarnations that we have, things that we did in the past that we are not proud of. And thanks God, we have the blessing of forgetfulness of what we've done in the past. But when we are faced with hurting words or lies, unfairness, sometimes that can trigger the worst within ourselves. How many times do we feel like, somebody said something and then we say they pushed our buttons? They pushed the buttons because the buttons existed. If there was no buttons, they would not be able to push anything. So it's not about them, it's about us. It's paying attention to what is inside us, our responsibility of how we live our life, our choices in terms of words and actions. We long for peace. We long for being closer to God. Otherwise, we will be doing other things on a Sunday morning. We'll be walking our dogs, enjoying the sunny weather, maybe sleeping, having a long brunch. I don't know. We'll not be here, but we are longing for something more. Everyone who is here, all 14 people who are here, they are here because they believe there's something else than the material realm. Even though we long for all the goodness, we still give away words of discouragement, anger, resentment. And we will not be able to change just like that because we are talking about thousands of years of doing that. But we can be mindful. We can start paying attention on our choices. Be responsible for our actions, say, I'm sorry, I should not have spoken with you like that. That was not the right choice of words. I will pay more attention next time. Recognizing that we made a mistake. When St. Augustine talked about going at night and thinking about how our day went and evaluating our actions, that includes our words too. That includes the tone of our words, because we know that our words can be carried with sarcasm, irony, fear, anger, but also with love and kindness and support and compassion. It's all within us. We are seed of God. All the perfection of God is embedded in each single cell of our body. We have it within us. We just need to choose. And then we say that our words represent our emotions. So if the words that are coming out of my mouth, through this very small muscle called tongue, but so powerful, because it can hurt much more than a sword. We just saw that. Thinking about the good things that someone told us years ago, how powerful the words can be. We need to think about what the words we use tell about ourselves. So Socrates also had a very interesting saying, which was like, speak so I can know you, so I can know who you are. Look at that. So we will know who people are by the way they speak, by the way of what they speak, how they speak. And sometimes the speaking means being silent. Because we want our silence sometimes to be even more powerful than our words. With Jesus, when he was in front of Pilatus, that Pilatus asked him, who are you? Are you the Son of God? Did you do anything wrong? And he was in silence. Why? Because why would he say anything when he lived showing that? The use of words are so important. We see that also in the books of André Luiz. How careful the words are chosen. How humble they are with their choices. We don't need to speak a lot. And then we go back and think, okay, so what are my choices of words at home and at work? What are my choices of words when I am in the car and somebody basically crosses my front? Sometimes we don't say what we thought, right? This is inside me. This is who I am. And we live in a moment in a society that we need to learn from living with others. Usually other people, they are the mirror of who we are, the buttons that I mentioned. And some people, they are lovers of foolishness, mockery, wrongful habits. And maybe we had friends that did that and we thought that was fun. And then we grew apart. Why? Because we changed. But what to do? What to do when we are surrounded by words that are hurtful? What do you think? What did Jesus do? Because he heard a lot of hurtful things. He used compassion. He used forgiveness. He basically looked, is this true? Does it serve me? Is it useful? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, trash. And sometimes we need professional help, right? a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist, a doctor, a friend, to talk, to validate, because we keep listening all those things and we go like, ooh, am I really that? Oh. And I am a big voucher of psychotherapy. I think has helped me so much, so many times. For some people, there is some type of dilemma, prejudice maybe, but it has never been that as important as right now with mental health. And we know that without the mind being balanced, the body will not be balanced. Without the mind being balanced, our life will not be balanced. I cannot fix the other things if I don't fix myself first. It will not help. Time is a sacred gift. Words are a sacred gift. Having this muscle that we use many times irresponsibly is a sacred gift. It will reveal our morale. It will reveal our character. The character, not of Anna, the character of my spirit as an eternal being, my higher being per se. And as mediums, as I mentioned before, we have even more responsibility about our choices of words. Mostly if we are working in a mediumship, group, for example. Our words will make a huge difference. How we are conversing with spirits that are in need of help, of love, of compassion. We live in difficult times. We know that. We have been surrounded by a lot of changes, difficult changes in the past 3 years. So COVID and then other illnesses, and life continued to happen. So we had divorce, we lost people, we got cancer, we had lost job, got job, changed job, moved. Life happens. But how are we navigating that change? There was a reason why we went through this. It's because something needed to change. Not outside, not on others, but on us. And then we reflect of the words and behavior on those critical moments. Because we live here on earth, and earth is like a school. We are here to learn something. So whatever hurts more, it's exactly the lesson that I need to learn. If I am good in math, math is not a problem for me. If I don't like math, every test will be a burden. So that's what I need to study. Same happens here. We may look at this, and some of us had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullets of this. I don't know. That's the lesson. And life happens. But we are here. We are looking for inner peace. We want to receive all the blessings of knowledge, as Kiki said, the knowledge that comes from studying, from connecting with others. But what are we doing? Are we doing our homework? Because the homework is every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As we are wrapping up our conversation today, we find Christ every day, every time that we use kind messages, kind words with others. We connect with the good spirits. We fill our souls with strength, with love, with hope, with charity. That's why giving is so much better than receiving. Because somehow we connect, we plug into this celestial source of energy that can basically fill us from head to toe and give us superpowers. And that's the only way that we can get rid of all the noise, all the problems, all the darkness that is outside, because that's not going to change. But we can change. A good conversation with a friend can make us feel healed, strong, loved, powerful. So let's be that person. And let's look for people that can fill us with joy, with this pure joy, this eternal joy that do not fades away with time. Let's lubricate our ears with the oils of love, so our listening is purified and our words are a blessing to others and to ourselves. Thank you.
I'm speechless. Anna, thank you so much, so much. I think that I took a lot of notes because, to your point, when we go to reflect about what do we talk, how do we talk, but also what is the tone, and most importantly, the intentions that we put every time that we talk. And I really like it, the reflection that you invited us to do when thinking about someone that just spoke to us like many, many years ago, things that we can't barely remember, but we can feel about that, and then the message remains. And I just feel the same about Jesus. Like, we were not there, right? Like, we are reading, of course. But if we think about how Jesus makes us feel, it's just so beautiful. And also connecting to what you just said, every time that we are kind and every time that we are lovely to someone, we get closer and we can feel Jesus. So you just made me reflect about like how interesting it is. And sometimes when life gets us hard, because as you mentioned, life goes on, right? Like, things will happen, nice things will happen, not nice things will happen. The more that we serve, the easier it gets, because we get closer to Jesus, to God, and we get the support that we need. So you just made me reflect about that. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, Regina.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Thank you so much for this. It really was beautiful. It put me in the mind of two things.
Mm.
First, the reflecting of oneself and going inside and being honest. To me, is the key. Being honest about how you feel inside, and how the dialogue that you do rant about yourself, and then changing that. And I was thinking that the best way, in my opinion, is being honest, recognizing it, write it down, and rewrite the correction and how you would like it to be. How, and if you were someone strange, what would you like someone to say to you, you know? And then the other one was, if you do meet someone going through that moment of their crisis or whatever it is, it's a moment of being charitable, just listening first, and then asking them, is it something I can do for you? Or would you like my opinion? Otherwise, no, let them go. But if they open that door, you're right, be kind, but be true, to growth. You don't want to attack them, but give them food for thought. That's my model anyway. Anytime somebody opens the door, I try to educate them with whatever it is, that little bit. If I got it, I'm giving it. I don't try to make them feel worse than they already do. Yeah, it was good. Thank you. I took a bunch of your pictures too, just because I like when I see other people's presentations, they work for me. And I might even use some of them pictures, just saying.
That's awesome. And I love what you said about the compassion, because and that's a fine line. My mom used to say that we cannot put hot water on a plant because we're going to kill it.
True.
Right? Sometimes the truth can hurt very much. So the truth without the compassion is really dangerous, right? So it can hurt really deeply. And sometimes, kind of the way that we see the world, right? We see the world like you see the world, Regina, different than I see, different than Kiki sees. So we see the world according to our perceptions. And that's sometimes it's dangerous, right? Because if what is true for you may not be true for me, may not be true for Kiki. Because
And yeah, true. That's that fine line. And that's why it's better to listen and ask, is it okay? Sometimes you can say it like that, but everybody's not always open.
But compassion always wins, right? So when we put love and compassion, then we know that we are in the right direction.
True that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone has any more comments or questions to Anna? Teresa, I think you made a question to Anna at the beginning, right? Let me see, what was that? We can't hear.
Yes, Socrates 3 sieges. Yes.
Yes. I couldn't. What the sieges? I didn't understand that word.
The siege is like a strainer.
Oh.
So it's like a filter, so like a coffee filter, right? So the first filter that you need to put on is it true?
Okay.
The second one is it kind, good to others, kind of the compassion, what Regina and I were talking about. And the third one, is it useful?
Well, I just wanted to add to it because I heard someone mention another one at a lecture, and I thought it was so beautiful. This was several years ago. He said, what he adds to it is, am I the person to say this?
Yeah.
Because there's something about the ego. Oh, I want to tell you how much I know, and I want to be the one, So I've used that several times, and it's so unhappy because I just had to shut up, But I think it's a good to really kind of let go of the ego a little bit more. I think it can be possibly. I mean, it's a good question to ask because maybe the answer is yes, I should be the person to say this, but it's a good thing to kind of pause and listen. And you said many things, and I particularly liked how you said, if we don't have a problem with math, then we don't have to spend so much time there. But to look at those areas that we do have problems. And I especially appreciated the comment about, it's not only what we say, the use of our words, but how we use them. Because if we use a harsh tone or, sarcastic, so it's not so much the actual word, but it's how we use them, like that tone in our voice. And I think it was a beautiful lecture. It's a very good reminder. It's in some ways it can seem so simple, but it's very deep how far it goes, the use of words and communication. I think it's an ongoing challenge. And
and then it's for all of us. So when I say that, my ears are the closer to my mouth. So I just think it's amazing that Emmanuel is able to unveil so much content like that. When I was studying for preparing the material for this, I also looked at the Palavras de Vida Eterna. It's another book from Emmanuel, Eternal Words. I don't know if there is a translation yet, but it's one of the Living Spring books. It's chapter 64. And there is another one, let's see here. There is another text from the New Testament that it's on John 15:7, that basically say that's Jesus saying that if you are in me and my words are within you, you will ask for everything and everything will be given. I thought that was interesting to see that power of, Jesus' words within us, and kind of like going back to what you said about the ego, because so many times we know that we are better than others and we guilty as charged, right? So I know more than you, so I can share this with you.
Yeah. It's interesting. There was someone was showing me how they, in their church, they do the sign of the cross. And one of them is they do it over their mouth. And so I asked why. And he said, because hunger is the greatest enemy. So that but the spirits tell us in the spirits book, we use so many varied words. So no wonder communication is challenging, right? We have so many different words. Anyway, thank you so much, Anna. I hope you come back.
Thank you so much.
All right. Any more comments or questions for Anna? All right. Anna, thank you once more. That was beautiful, so touching. We have recorded, so I will send you the link for the YouTube video. So if anyone wants to go back and watch it again, everyone can go to our BSH page on YouTube. You can find the link easily on our website, and you can watch not only this lecture but all the previous one. So thank you so much, my sister. God bless you. God bless your heart, and may we see you again soon.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. We're gonna have 2 minutes break. Let me see. Yeah, 2 minutes break, and then we can come back for the passes. And of course, you're welcome to stay if you can, because we'll be doing the passes here.
I would stay. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, 2 minutes break for you to stretch your legs, go to the restroom, grab a water, do whatever, and we'll be here.